Good evening everyone and welcome along to SRS GT3 series. We are here out on track and I am out on track. I need to cancel my entry. There we are. We can now go. Apologies about that. I am of course James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always. We are here of course at the fictional track of Sardegna, and Sardegna is one of these tracks which is really going to test the drivers out on track. You can see there CEO with a 1:39.8 heads the timing screens currently. We're running on board with Palmer, who just runs by coming through turn 1 and then through turn 2 and then crashes. That is not what you want to see from last week's winner at Brands Hatch. He's got engine damage, but of course that'll be replicated, and we are nearly at 7 o'clock for the action to get back underway very soon indeed. And coming into tonight, of course, 15 turns await these drivers out on track in Sardegna, and the qualifier has just now started. Let me quickly get up for you guys the standings after round 1 of the championship. And the standings after round 1 of the championship are as follows, pretty much how it all ended up last week, of course, in Brands Hatch. And it is Palmer who leads the way on 33 points in the championship from TSR. T5 Black in second, Seal there in third on 22 points, Black of course on 28, Tyson fourth on 18 with Splash in fifth on 14, Doug in sixth on 12 with Bullfisher Dara in seventh on 10, Hairraiser in eighth on 8 points, K&K Dot in ninth on 6, Viper in 10th on 4 and Volschweitzer in 10th on 2 points. Petrolhead and Superboy both disconnecting out of that race, and we have got our first man out on track, and it's of course SMM_Tice, hoping to try and provide himself with a good finish. He was so unlucky, I think, to get nabbed with that P3. CO produced a really good move down the inside into Surtees at Brands Hatch last week, and that's why CO of course got third. Tyson fourth. He drove really well that race. Now the Mercedes is up for the SMM team have essentially, they've struggled so far here in practice. They're predicting a third and fourth finish because of the TSR guys being so quick out on track. Tice now, however, coming up the top of the hill through turn 9 and then through 10, 11, 12. Will right on board with him as he comes through this very tight technical section, coming through in towards the final sector. As Quinner has left the session, hopefully he'll be able to rejoin back in and participate hopefully within the race. But Tice now is coming through what is turn 14 out on track, and this very quick turn 15 awaits. He is going to be the first man out on track to set a lap time. With 8 minutes to go, it is Tice, Bullfisher Dara, Petrolhead in that order, as they will be setting their laps around then. But Tice around the final corner, taking right on board with a beautiful camera coming up towards turn 1. Let's ride on board then with Tice as he now comes up the rise through turn 1 at the fictional Sardegna circuit. This is the A version of the track, not the B, not the C, it is the A version, so it is literally number 1 version out on track. And this is the longest version actually out of the 3 that you can have around here at Sardegna. And Sardegna of course also has the sand track as well, the gravel. But Tice coming through turn 4, now through turn 5 out on track, looking very good through there. Now flattens out on the power, reaches in excess of about 130 mile an hour when he gets to the end of this straight. He'll be hard on the brakes, dead on 130, fighting the car, fighting the oversteer through there. Missing the apex, I tend to take a wider out entry, trying to take that apex nice and flat, and that's Tice now coming up the hill towards and trying to save the ground towards turn number 8. And this is turn 8 out on track. No corner names, I'm afraid to say, out on track here tonight. But we'll just go by the number of the corners as Tice now comes at the top of the hill through turn 9, pretty much halfway through the lap, 3/4 of the way through the lap now for Tice, as he now flies through this very technical section, coming through turns 11, 12, 13, and then up towards, well, this is turn 12, and then through 13, really hard on the apex there, very nice indeed from Tice. There is the man himself in the cockpit. We now come in towards the turn 14 hairpin. He just nearly clips the inside of the roundabout there, but on a very good lap here is Tice with 6.5 minutes to go in qualifying. Bullfisher Dara just appearing into shot there in the background, but Tice around the final corner, hoping to get in amongst the 140s, possibly the 141s, and Tice coming to the line now. So 141.2 starts looking very nicely indeed. Both for Shadara now running up towards the line. Is he quicker than Tice? No, he's just up by 500ths of a second. Petrolhead is purple though, and he goes third in the end. He must have made a slight mistake. Splash has gone quickest for now. See where Palmer is actually out on track. Palmer is there, he's ran wide. Coming through turn 9, very much struggling out on track. Superboy with a 41.3. He puts himself up there, but quite a big shock early on. We've got Seal out there on a lap. He's revving out the fuel to try and maximise that towards the end of the laps. Black is there, about to come across the line as Quinner has now joined in. Doug with a 141.8. Don't be surprised if Doug does leave within this race. He is not feeling that well, to be honest, but he's good. It's good to see him here. He's up in 9th position for now. Black comes across the line. Oh, and he absolutely destroys everyone by 6/10 of a second. A 140.3. And I have a fact for you guys. I was quicker than that time within practice. Yeah, the commentators no slouch here. Palmer goes well down the field there in 11th, Bar there in 12th, the reserve, and Seal there in 13th. And he is about, I think, to start off a lap. Tice is going to be behind him out on track, and for Team Impact Racing, Seal now, third last time out in Brands Hatch, going to prepare up for a lap. A long run towards this final corner. We're now right on board with him as he comes towards the final corner out on track, and he revs out this fuel as much as possible. And he looks like he's going to come into the pit lane, in fact. Yeah, Seal is back into the pits. There is Tice coming around the final corner there. We'll hop on board with him right now as he comes towards the line. Is he going to improve ahead of Black? No, but he improves ahead of Splash. He goes second for now. Splash is there out on track in the Mercedes. Mercedes seem to be coping quite well so far. Volschweitzer well up there in 4th. Tap there in 8th, just coming into the pit lane. Petrolhead has gone 4th. 141.1. Splash not improving, 1.2 seconds off. Hair Razor across the line doesn't improve either. Both for Shadara's just started up on a lap. Superboy across the line, 200ths off. Doug and Palmer currently setting personal best middle sectors, and now they come through final corner, or Doug comes through the final corner in that red and white looking car. That looks very similar to the back end, I've got to say, to the Sunderland kit. Yes, I'm a Sunderland fan, of course, from the city itself. Palmer is coming through turn number 13, out on track. Through turn 14, I should say, and then up towards turn 15. Halfway through qualifying, Black on top, Tice second, Splash in third. Let's see what Palmer can do. Flat out through the final corner, out on track. You can see him now revving up the RPM, in excess of 1,000 RPM now, running toward the line. And he goes 10th. 10th still for Palmer, improved by nearly a second, but Palmer really struggling out there on track. Bar really struggling out on track there, just coming through. He's got engine damage already, and that car very much struggling to keep an eye on it. CO is back out on that lap. You can see him revving up the engine there once again to waste away the fuel. And Black has just came out the pit lane as well, and he's running a very similar tactic to CO, his teammate. Tice is now going to be the next one to start us off on a lap. As he comes around the final corner once again with just over 3 minutes to go. Tice dives it into the pit lane, in fact. And there is that pit entry. You can take it, of course, flat out. No 10-second time penalties or anything like here. Tice is into the pit lane. And he puts on a fresh set of rubber. He does not fuel up, and he's out of the pit lane. And he's out in clear air as well. So Tice there with his hazard lights on, just in case. But Tice now out of the pit lane. Volschweitzer is out there on a lap in the Corvette. Superboy has gone third. Good lap from him. 140.8 from him. And Volschweitzer has got CO just ahead of him out on track. Let's see what he can do. The Swiss man. Very new name here, of course, to SRS GT3 series. As I said last week, he was more involved with the League of Europe side last season of GT Sport. And sadly left halfway through the season, I think. He is back here though, making his return in GT Sport for SRS GT3. He sets us off on a lap. He's only 8 tenths off the back of Black, so back in Black. Black will be hoping to try and win this. Yeah, you'll get that if you're an ACD fan. Well, Palmer goes into 4th, I think, with that lap. Nice lap there from Palmer. He's 5th actually, just in behind Splash there. The Volschweitzer will follow him on with a lap, and will follow CO just ahead of him as well. And there is CO, there is Volschweitzer, so they're very close to each other. Bar is just in front of CO out on track, and CO approaches the first sector split. And not sure what his first sector is. He hasn't set a lap time yet, so that's why it's not showing. Could have been a lot quicker through there. As he now comes up the hill through turn 7. And then up the hill towards turn 8, out on track. This formidable Sardegna circuit, 1.5 minutes to go in qualifying. You're in the best place, you're in the best seat of the house. Grab a cuppa, grab some popcorn, and have yourself on the edge of your seat. So I'm sure this is going to be a really good race. It could be a war of attrition. That's what I'm going to say there now. I think it could be a war of attrition out on track. Because we'll focus on Seal still for now. Looks like he's going quite quick. Let's see if he downs it to third. No. Up into fourth gear, running wide there as Barr is ahead of him out on track. I think Barr is on an outlap. Oh, and Barr goes careering into the wall. And that is contact. He rejoins the track just about safely. And he nearly spins the car up again on the exit. But now CO round the final corner for Team Simpact Racing. Doug has gone quicker, I think, just in behind Palmer to go sixth, which is a nice lap there. But CO coming across the line. Does he beat Black? Yes, by a tenth and a half of a second. Black is out there on a lap as well. There is Tice, there is Superboy. Currently, Superboy getting out very wide there. But now, Black is going to be one of the next to come across the line. He's 3/10 down through the middle sector. Got to really find something. Oh, he clips the wall. And that is going to be Black's end to the session, really. He's not going to be improving on this lap at all. And Black, just one mistake last week in Brands Hatch cost him the win. And now it's cost him a potential shout at pole position. It's not going to be enough time for him to come across the line. So Black then, around the final corner, not going to be improving on this one unless he's found an absolutely godly amount of time. But no, you can see coming up towards the line, not happy with that at all. Comes across the line, he's 8/10 off in the end. Tice is going to be the next one to come across the line. Let's see what he can do. The Mercedes man, the Dutch man, now coming around the final corner through 10-15, flat out through here. Really on the power, in excess of 140 mile an hour, now up to 150 as he comes towards the line. Can he beat CO? No, he doesn't even improve himself. There's Palmer. Superboy not on a lap. Splash has run wide. He's not on the lap either, but Palmer is up in the middle sector. He's approaching this middle sector split now. Bofa Shadara has gone fifth. Petrolhead, however, goes third with a 140.4. Nice lap time from him. But Palmer, 3.5 tenths down, not going to be improving, I don't think. That will win a last time out in Brands Hatch. He really attacks, though, coming through turns 12 out on track and now through up towards 14. And Palmer reaching this point out on circuit. There's not many improvements being found. CO goes quicker. 40 flat from CO. Very nice lap time from him. Barr, I don't think is going to improve. Palmer might be the only one that can stand a chance of beating CO. He will be the last across the line. Is Palmer going to do it across the line? No, he falls short. He's not even improving himself, and the qualifier has ended. And it's an all Swedish affair at the top row. The Vipers on top, CO, T5 Black, and Petrolhead setting up into third position. So now we get prepared. 60 minutes worth of racing here in SRS GT3 series. Quinner rejoining there at the back of the field, I do believe. And he's not. He's actually going to be joining. Sadly, he's going to be watching on this race, which is a shame. But we are prepared. I hope you guys are prepared at home. It's Sunday here in the UK. It's lockdown, but we are getting ready now for the 5 red lights to go out here in Sardegna. It's round 2 of the GT3 Championship, and it's lights out and away we go. Tice gets a very good start. He's already jumped Petrolhead off the line. He could get the 2 Vipers up the run in towards turn 1, but Seal's got a good breakaway. Black right on the back, and these 2 TSR boys are going to be defending each other in towards turn 1. And I don't think anybody's getting close enough. Doug has dived it down the inside. He forces one into the gravel, I think there. That's Palmer. Palmer is into the gravel. Doug really not sure what he was thinking there, to be honest. He's going to give a whole lot of position. Drama early on here in Sardegna. Palmer, last week's winner, well down to the back of the field. Doug just totally committed it on the brakes, and unfortunately for Palmer, he's down into 12th. But Seal leads. Black second, Tyson third. Petrolhead really didn't have a good start there in 4th, with Superboy in 5th. Bofa Shadara 6th, Splash 7th, Volschweitzer 8th as they come through up towards turn 6 for the first time. So it is CO who leads. I'm just going to quickly jump out and then quickly jump back in with the battle for the lead, as now CO has got Black right on the back of him. There is Tice right in this mix as well as they come nearly 3 wide. Tice is going to go for the move down the inside line for the lead of the race. That's very late on the brakes. Can he get the car stopped? No. CO waltzes back through on the inside line. Petrolhead is joining in on the act as well, as Black is not going to go around the outside of Tice here, surely. Coming up through turn 11 and 12, Quinner has left the session, sadly not participating, but Black is through. Brilliant move by Black, really holding off the attention of Tice there. That was phenomenal racing between them both, and now Tice is going to come back down the inside and towards turn 14. The elbows are out early on here in Sardegna, and CO leads the way by a full second out on track from Black in second. Black being the wingman to CO. Early on, with Tyson third, Petrolhead in fourth, Superboy now latching onto the back in the Aston in fifth, Bullfish Adara in sixth, Splash in seventh, Bullschweitzer to eighth, Tap in ninth, Bar 10th, Hair Raiser 11th, the look of Palmer. Palmer right on the back of these guys as well as we now come side by side, I think, for the lead of the race, but we're right on board with this three-wide battle, now running up the hill and towards turn 1. This is a three-wide for P10. Palmer now down on the inside line, trying to get the move done. Doug has careered across again, not really sure what's going on with Doug. Doug really not liking things, and he's retired from the race, really not feeling things out on track. I did say he would be really struggling, and unfortunately for him, I think the best thing would have done is not to join at all, to be honest. Black in second, Tyson third, but the main talking point early is CO, and he's getting the gap out. 2.5 minutes down, and CO leads from Black in second. Expect about 36 laps, 37 at a push around here in Sardegna tonight. But CO leads the way up the hill from Black in second, Tice in third, Petrolhead and Superboy having now a battle for fourth position. It's very late on the brakes. Club Superboy ran the outside, can go the Aston Martin. To all British giants of the game, the manufacturers going at it. Jaguar against Aston. Can the Aston try and go round the outside? Car not stopping apparently, according to Doug. He must be having issues, and he's out, and Petrolhead and Superboy came together, both running wide into the wall, and both of them have now lost the back of Tice. Petrolhead runs wide, Superboy runs wide as well. They've got dirty tyres, Superboy sliding all over the place. Bullfish Adara now is going to come on and try and get the move done, but Petrolhead is through. Sorry, Superboy is through on Petrolhead, and he's up into fourth. Here is Bullfish Adara though, and the McLaren, three giants of the game now, battling out up the hill, in towards turn 1 once again. Bullfish Adara on the outside line, Petrolhead on the inside line, look at the run that Splash has got. Splash in the Mercedes, down the inside line. These guys are going to be very careful on the brakes, they don't want to overcommit it. Great stuff though, coming down towards turn 1, and Splash gets the move done. Petrolhead bullied out of 2 positions there, and Bullschweitzer suddenly lands himself right on the back of this. Really good action so far, we're only 4 minutes in. A Splash tries to dive it down the inside of Bullfish Adara. Bullschweitzer trying to get a good run out. Petrolhead gets onto the grass, and now Bullschweitzer, the Swiss man in the Corvette, is going to try and go around the outside here through turn 6. But rightfully so, he backs out, and Petrolhead gets the position and gets the run, as Tice is now closing right on the back of Black once again. TSR against SMM, and Tice now trying to fight for second position. Ran the outside and towards turn 9, but Black very late on the brakes, so much later on the brakes than Tice. Tice just a little bit hesitant. Superboy coming through there, and there's contact between Petrolhead and Splash in the background of shots. And they're still going at it, these two. Bullschweitzer and Splash now running through the tight and technical section. Splash, I think, gets through. Bullschweitzer not getting the move done. Petrolhead all the way down into 8th place now from a very promising position at the start from 4th on the grid. Perez in 9th, Tap in 10th. Palmer now latching onto the back of this, and Barr really struggling at the back of the field. But CO leads the way, out on track still. Black in 2nd, Tyson 3rd. It's calmed down a little bit now. 5 minutes through, Superboy in 4th, Bullfish Adara getting a good run out the final corner now, and the McLaren comes side by side with the Aston. You can probably see, to be honest, where this one is going to go. He latches on in front now, the McLaren. He's got the full car width ahead. He comes across to defend the line, and he's through. Bullfish Adara through, and he's up into 4th. 3 wide in towards turn 1. There's going to be a lot of stewards incidents here in Sardegna. Petrolhead trying to go for the move there, I think, on Bullschweitzer. I think Petrolhead is now waiting up. Good to see. Look, really good sportsmanship here, and that means Palmer, all of a sudden, with all of this battling that's going on around him, Palmer is coming into this. He's in 8th position, and he's now trying to latch onto the back of Hair Raiser and Splash, who are having their own duel for sixth, and there is Palmer running wide on the background there as well. Tice still on the back of Black as they now come up the hill once again for the 4th time. CO leads the way from Black in 2nd, Tice in 3rd. Tice still trying to get onto the back of him. That Mercedes is really good in a straight line, but Black very late on the brakes. That Dodge can brake so much later than the Mercedes out on track. I think it's just characteristic of the driver more than anything, as both for Shadar and Superboy. Now, as we ride on both for fourth, they're still having a good battle. Splash and Hairraiser. Palmer now still latching onto the back of these guys. Vol tried to tap, and Petrolhead now down to 11th as a result of letting these guys through, and tap, trying to go at the inside line of Wallschweitzer. Wallschweitzer trying to cut him off and gets the move done. So Wallschweitzer threw him into 9th. Very, very hard to try and drive around this track. Petrolhead is on the outside line now of Tap, and the Jag against the Aston, and it is the Jag who could get a split coming through turn 14, and he does. He gets both of them. Petrolhead is through, but Tap now fighting for 9th and 10th position. You don't know where to turn. Also, Splash is trying to get onto the back. Sorry, Hairraiser is trying to get onto the back of Splash, and this is down in towards turn 1 now. Hairraiser for 6th. Gets the move done around the outside. Will Splash go for the move down the inside? No, Hairraiser cuts across, saying, "You're not having that one, mate." And Hairraiser is through, and he's up into 6th. Still, this battle goes on. Petrolhead has now dispatched Tap and Wallschweitzer, and now Petrolhead is up into 9th. Fantastic racing going on. Seal leads. Von Black in 2nd. Tice in 3rd. Tice is set in a purple first sector. And that comes through turn 6 out on track. Well, Shadara there in 4th. Superboy in 5th. Really, these guys are excelling in these cars. The McLaren and the Aston really doing well around this track. The Mercedes and the Dodge obviously doing a lot better. Splash now on the back of Hairraiser once again as we come up the hill in towards turn 8. You can see the Speed Demon Motorsports linked car there of Hairraiser to the left-hand side. To the right-hand side goes Splash, the Brit against his fellow countryman. Now down in towards turn 9. Who's going to be the battle of the breakers? Under the brakes, Hairraiser's just coming out on top. Splash gets a cleaner exit though. And now through turn 10, coming through turns 11 and 12, Hairraiser has got ahead. But look, it's an all Mercedes affair with Palmer now battling in 8th. Petrolhead still there in 9th. Wallschweitzer and Tap are still going side by side, and Bar's into the wall. Bar into the wall, taking that way too quick. Splash trying to go down the inside. Goodness me. He'll be feeling for me after this one, I've got to be honest. Palmer has got through on Splash. Splash got a weird exit coming out of turn 14. And Palmer now has got his sights set on 6th position. Who would have thought it? Palmer going for 6th position this early on in the race with only 10 minutes gone. It's a war of attrition already. CO Black ties to the top 3. We're going to get 3 wide in towards turn 1. Splash is going around the outside of both of them. This will be phenomenal stuff if we can get these on the brakes. Splash around the outside. Hairraiser on the inside line. And he pulls off one. Can he get the other? Splash on the outside line of Hairraiser. Hairraiser on the inside line. Splash on the outside. There's Palmer just in behind as well. And that's all Mercedes battle. Splash is still going for the move. This will be a brilliant move. He can pull it off. Hairraiser forced out wide. And Splash, I think, will take this one by the scruff of the neck. And he should get the move done eventually. Coming up in towards turn 6. He's got the run. This all Mercedes battle for 6th really unfolding. And Splash around the outside. Gets the move done. Brilliant, brilliant racing by Splash. And now Palmer is coming in on this as well. You do not know where to turn here in Sardegna. This is a fictional track, but my God, it should be on the real life track for sure. Oh, Splash, Hairraiser down in towards turn 9 once again. And Splash should have the run out the corner. Palmer just sitting tight, and Hairraiser actually got the move done. Ran the outside through turn 9, then through turn 10. Hairraiser gets the move done. What does the commentator know with that one? Hairraiser through and he's up into 9th. Up into 6th. Splash 7, Palmer 8, Petrolhead and Wallschweitzer trying to latch onto the back of these guys as well. But CO is the one who leads the way out on track. From Black in 2nd, Tyson 3rd. These 3 really just being so consistent out in front. They haven't got themselves into any trouble at all. And CO Black Tice currently on top 3. Both for Shadara 4th. Superboy in 5th. Superboy's just dropped off slightly. Hairraiser in 6th, getting closed down by Splash. And now down the inside in towards turn 1 possibly. They'll have to be forced around the outside line now. Splash will take this on board with Palmer's point of view. And now in towards turn 1. Oh, beautiful job there by Splash. Comes across right on the apex and gets the move done. And now Palmer is going to try and have the run on the man ahead of him, Hairraiser, in 7th. We're only 10 minutes through, and there's been so much action, you could probably spoil this for a 60-minute race already. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. Seal leads, Black second, Tyson third. If you are just tuning in, Petrolhead just running wide there in the background with Wallschreiter, Bar and Tap having their own private scap, 11th and 12th, but they're still only 22 seconds off the lead. It's unbelievable to think they're only 22 seconds off the lead. Here comes Superboy now on the back of Bo Fischer-Dara. This is the fourth. Bo on the inside line, Superboy on the outside line. That's very late on the brakes. He's running miles wide of the corner, and always, that was going to be Bo Fischer-Dara's position. Superboy just needs to learn his braking point, I think, for that corner, and he's down now back into fifth as we ride on board with Hairraiser getting the move done once again on Splash, and that is for P6. Splash into P7. Palmer is V8. Palmer is just looking at this, thinking to himself, how on earth have I landed myself in this position? Doug obviously making twice contact with him down in towards turn one. Obviously the car not stopping apparently out on track, but he has been feeling under the weather, has Doug, and that's probably why, also the reason why he's also came out of this race. With 12 minutes through, Hairraiser, Splash, Palmer, and this battle for sixth rages on. Come across the line, 41.2, new personal best there for Splash. He's now across the outside line. Hairraiser having a little bit of a moment there, and Splash tried to outdo him on the brakes around the outside. But Hairraiser that time, too focused on the cars in front, and gets the move done. Still stays in P6 for now. So I'll come down in the top five, which I'm glad to report. So we'll keep on running on board with this battle for sixth. Hairraiser, Splash, Palmer. I'm going to give you guys as many camera angles as possible, but right on board with driver cam, on board with both Palmer and Splash. Now into this tricky turn six. You have to take this either at a very flat second gear and then hammer out onto the apex of the corner, or you take it in third, like those guys have just shown. Hairraiser, Splash again. Palmer trying to find a way through. Splash gives Hairraiser a little bit of a tap there to say, come on, hurry up. And Hairraiser still in P6. Might have just outdone his braking zone slightly there, but he remains in position. Splash there in seventh, Palmer in eighth. There's Petrolhead. There's Wallschreiter right on the back of him still. Bar now is disposed of Tap further down the field. Wallschreiter chasing down Petrolhead for ninth. Petrolhead starting fourth. Really promising qualifying position from him. Not really a promising race at all. We see into camera shot. Petrolhead now tries to defend off Wallschreiter again, and Wallschreiter still in P10. I'm sure the starts will be investigated by the stewards, and I'm sure they'll use our footage, of course, that we put up on the stream, and indeed the drivers' POVs, but they will have to send to the stewards. Palmer's got a sensational run now on the back of Hairraiser and Splash once again, but Splash tries to go around the outside of Hairraiser. Early on the brakes, Hairraiser, and Palmer's got a sail right around the outside, and Hairraiser should have not really given that any thought at all, because Palmer now is through and he's up into seventh, Splash is through and he's up into sixth. Hairraiser has just been mugged completely for two positions out on track. Great stuff by both Splash and Palmer, and they're through and they're up into sixth and seventh position out on track. Hairraiser there in eighth. Petrolhead's now pulled away from Wallschreiter. Might have had a slight moment coming out through the first couple of corners. He's now dropped. Bar is in 11th. Tap in 12th. And now a battle for the lead has developed. CO against Black. Tice really struggling, I think, in third. You can see his tyre wear compared to both CO and Black. They're around the same levels, but these guys are just dominating affairs out in front. This Viper duo of the TSR team, CO and Black, really finding their feet really out in front. CO just runs wide. Black gets a better exit, and with about 35 litres of fuel left, Black is now going to have a go at CO for the race lead. 15 minutes through, quarter of the way here in Sardegna, and Black comes to take CO, and Black is through on CO. Just as that, he is through, and CO might try and fight back in towards turn one. But no, Black through the number 79 car against the number 72 car. CO there in second. Black now into the lead of the race. Should say the number 22 car. I saw the 72 on the side and I was thinking, oh, that's the correct number. It's not. Number 22 it is. CO has been overtaken by Black. Black now leads. CO in second. Tice in third. Bo Fischer-Dara in fourth. Superboy in fifth. And Palmer is now into sixth position. He must have got the move done on Splash down in towards turn one, which we missed. Palmer is through and he's up into 6th position out on track. Splash still trying to close in there, and now Palmer has got a reasonable amount of clear air, which can now begin to push. There's 3.5 seconds roughly to Superboy just ahead of him as they come now through turn 6 once again. And this track really unforgiving in terms of the nature, in terms of the undulations out on track. Both Shadara still getting chased down by the winding road racing car of Superboy. Superboy doing a good job, having his best race so far in SRS, which is good to see. Palmer still in 6th, Splash there in 7th, Hairraiser in 8th. As they now come through, flying again for the next time around. Petrolhead 9th, Volkswagen to 10th, Bar and Tap having to go. Both of them run out onto the marbles, and Tap, give them a love tap up the rear end, and Bar is now through and he's up into 11th position. Tap though is trying to come back at him, both of them making equally the same mistakes. CO 5/10 off the back of Black. There might be an elevation actually of fuel saving possibly from CO out on track. Just seeing the closing speed there on Black, not as quick as what you would imagine with him running in the slipstream of the car ahead. So it might just be the case where CO was just saving the fuel down the straight. And this is a thing that we normally see in GT3 racing like this. We have got pit stops, by the way. Bar is in, Petrolhead in, Volkswagen is in as well. And Volkswagen was the first one, I think, to pit in out of these guys. Petrolhead, I think, might have just been ahead of him. Yeah, Petrolhead is at the pit lane. 70 litres of fuel goes into the car. Volkswagen is into the pits. 91 litres, and he's being jumped by Bar as well. So Bar is now up into 11th. You can hear the faint cheering there in the background. Obviously happy with that. Bar has jumped out ahead of Volkswagen, and Bar now in 11th position. And he's fully, he hasn't fueled up. He's about 75 litres on that fuel. Petrolhead ahead is about 70 litres. Splash once again, as Superboy, I believe, is now under pressure from Palmer. And here comes Palmer, down on the inside line. Superboy cutting across. He's going to be out on the marbles. And Palmer, yeah. I think Palmer will be unhappy, to be honest, with that defensive line taken by Superboy coming through turn 9 there. Superboy just couldn't across. They're entitled to do that, but normally in racing, it's one move to make sure your car is positioned enough to give the other driver a bit of room, and also one to position yourself for the corner, and that is Superboy out wide, and that is Palmer through. So Palmer is through, he's up to 5th. Superboy, the pressure getting to him, but that Aston Martin is quick, but he will be coming into the pit lane, so I've just noted this fuel. He's probably got another lap left, I think, in that car. Hairraiser trying to close down Splash as well, currently for 6th and 7th now. And Hairraiser still in 7th, closing down onto the back of Splash. Doing a good job, these two, in 6th and 7th, looking further up the field. Black and Seal, Black, purple, through the first sector, 40 flat, currently his lap time. Getting quicker and quicker, these two out on track. Seal there in 2nd, Tyson 3rd. He's got really no response. 5 seconds behind the leader, 4.6 behind Seal. Got no response there at all so far. Both for Shadara there in 4th. Palmer in 5th, Splash in 6th, Hairraiser 7th. Hairraiser taking the deeper line, coming through turn 6, and that Splash crashing into the wall there slightly, and now this gives Hairraiser the run up towards turn 7. And then through turn 8, which is the next corner up and coming. Hairraiser on the outside line, Splash on the inside line. Hairraiser cannot control that car at all. Those tyres, the rear is really going there. And onto the brakes, Splash has held on to the position. Hairraiser just had moved that car a little bit to the left to try and pressurise Splash. They would have been off camera of the corner, but Hairraiser would have got a better run, and he wouldn't have hit the wall on the exit, and he might have just had a run at Splash to try and get the move done. You're flying through. The leaders are in. Leaders are in. Black and CO for TSR Racing. They're into the pit lane. 20 minutes through. It is Black who led the way. CO in 2nd, Tyson 3rd. All of these guys now coming in for their first pit stops. Expect, I think, a 3-stop possibly. 2-stop, I should say, for these guys. And there's both for Shadara coming past to lead the way of the race. Splash now could be in 2nd. And these guys are going to be out in and around Splash. There is Splash closing on these guys. And both of them let the Mercedes through, which I think is quite reasonable, to be honest. Obviously, with the overspeed, Splash had the run. And now CO is ahead of Black. 1/10 of a second. Look at how much Tice has lost in the fuel, and he's actually fueled up right to 100 litres. So he's trying to do what happened last week in Brands Hatch, where the TSR boys, CO and T5 Black, were pitting up with the full fuel, and they had about a lap or two advantage over the back of a couple of seconds advantage, I should say, over the back of the two SMM boys, Tice and Palmer. Now Palmer is in 6th. He has been into the pit lane and is now ahead of Superboy, so that's crucial for him. Here comes though the two TSR boys, CO and Black, trying to chase down Splash for 2nd. Splash still hanging on in position, but the more that Splash holds these guys up, the more that Tice will, I think, feel in favour of trying to close this gap down. You can already see that gap coming down slightly to 9 seconds. It's now coming through. Black, CO, Black find a way through on his teammate. They're just going to have to sit and wait, I'm afraid. Splash still there in 2nd position. We should see Bo for Shadara, who might run out of fuel before he gets into the pit lane. Round the final corner comes the McLaren, and the McLaren now into the pit lane. So Bo for Shadara in from the lead of the race, really gaining the time, 5 seconds. Splash also into the pit, and now this brings a lead for the race, because a battle for the lead of the race as now Black cuts the inside line. He outdoes CO running up the hill in towards turn 1. He dummied him to the inside line, and Black is through on CO, and he's through and he's into the lead of the race, really dominating these guys out in front. They're dominating so much that they can have a battle, but they're still pulling away from the car in 3rd, which is Tice. There is Tice in 3rd. Palmer now is up into 4th. But for Shadara is in 5th. Splash there, I think, in 6th, if I'm not mistaken. There is Splash, there's both for Shadara. And there is Superboy diving down the inside. Can he get that car stopped? Yes! Can he? Just about. Splash on the inside line. Superboy on the outside line. I think Superboy is just fresh out the pit lane. And Superboy is through. And he's up into 6th position. How about that? Splash. Literally just out the pit lane. Superboy with the overspeed, and Superboy now through, and he's up into 6th position, out on track, and Petrolhead now latching onto the back. Petrolhead really gains because of the undercut, out on track. He's really gained, and he's into the back of Splash slightly. Just got to be careful trying to come and move, and another bit of contact, and another bit of contact. Petrolhead just got to be patient. I know how hard it is around this track to be patient, but they've got to be patient. They've got to be on the air of caution. They do not want to make any sort of contact that was not originally going to be theirs. Petrolhead now around the outside, tries to cut to the inside line, but the hairpin there on the left-hand side through the roundabout, as I normally say, through turn 9. Not close enough, Petrolhead at the minute. Splash in 7th, Petrolhead in 8th. And they're running down now in towards turn 14 once again. We're right back on board with the leaders. 4/10 of a second now. Black leads over CO. And look at the gap they're pulling away. 10.4 seconds to Tice. Just pure domination from the TSR boys. Tice in 3rd. Palmer in 4th. Palmer across the line sets a new personal best. Bo for Shadara now is up into 5th. Superboy in 6th. And here comes Petrolhead. Jag against Mercedes in a drag race up the hill and towards turn 1. He's going to be battled at the leg breaker. Splash has gone way too deep. That's going in the gravel. Splash it into the gravel through turn 1. And Petrolhead masters him. And he's up into 7th position. You saw how late Splash was. He committed himself too much on the brakes. And Hairraiser has gone through as well. And he's up into 8th. So 2 positions lost there for Splash as a result of him going into the gravel at turn number 1. Really hope you are enjoying this race, by the way, out on track. Petrolhead right on the back of Superboy. And this is for P7 now out on track. As Petrolhead just tries to chase down Superboy, but doing a really good job. And Petrolhead, Superboy, both for Shadara fighting. CO and Black still 4/10 second. These guys will just be battling, I think, between themselves now. If they do want to battle, they've got a commanding advantage over Tice. Palmer there in 4th, really recovered well, if I've got to be honest. He's recovered the best out of anyone, I think, so far in this race. There's both for Shadara in 5th. He's got Superboy now on the back tail. And Petrolhead still on the back of these guys for 5th, 6th and 7th. Both for Shadara fields enough to try and defend coming in towards turn 14. Both for Shadara 5th, Superboy in 6th. And then in 7th, of course, is Petrolhead. So now they close up once again through the final corner. Bullfish Dara. You can see the overspeed now of the Aston coming into play. He's even pulling away from the Jag, and behind, here comes Superboy for a move. That McLaren, though, is going to be picking up speed now up the hill and towards turn 1. They're losing speed up the rise. Superboy on the outside line. Bullfish Dara has none of it. Down on the inside line. Retakes the position, and now Petrolhead's coming in on the act as well. These three former Division 2 drivers from that season having a really good fight, and Petrolhead has just mastered Superboy, and it's through, and he's up into 6th. He could be up into 5th. A little bit of contact, a little bit of a Constantino effect. Petrolhead is really flying now. Out on track, he's got less fuel than these guys, but he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to give his tyres away towards the end of the race. As now Petrolhead round the outside line, makes contact with Bullfish Dara. Superboy, these guys have really got to be careful. They've got to be a lot cleaner, I think, out on track, as Petrolhead just boots Superboy out the way. This is just getting on the verge of aggressive racing now. You can see them moving up the hill. This is not what you want to see at all. This has to be cleared up right here, right now. Bullfish Dara on the inside line. Petrolhead around the outside. Can he get the move done? Bull not having any of it. And these guys are fighting for 5th. They're just falling each other over, to be honest. And now, Hair and Splash and behind are trying to get in on these guys. But this is just getting on the verge, I think, of over-aggressive racing between these three. Standards might just have to be looked at, I think, for these guys out on track. Particularly 2 drivers more than anyone else. Black has pulled out now over a second lead to CO in 2nd. Tice there in 3rd, Palmer in 4th, Bullfish Dara currently in 5th, but Petrolhead now closing the gap up in towards 6th. And Petrolhead closing in once again. Superboy's got no response. He could try and go around the outside possibly if he's got the run. But Petrolhead could be through here. Bullfish Dara on the inside line, trying to get the car stopped, just adjudging his braking point slightly, and that lets Superboy through. And Superboy has a little bit back on Petrolhead as a result of their contact running up the straight. This really does have to clear up between these two, otherwise they're going to be landing themselves possibly with over-aggressionness and possibly penalties on their race time at the end of the race. Possibly. I'm not a steward, so I can't decide, but if I was a steward, that's what I would be doing. Petrolhead on the inside line, trying to get Bullfish Dara once again. Black now 2 seconds ahead of CO. CO looks to me as if he's just trying to save up a little bit of fuel. He might have made a slight mistake actually out on track. But Black now dominating. CO in 2nd, Tice in 3rd, Palmer 4th, Bullfish Dara in 5th, 3 wide in towards turn 9. And Bull 5th, Petrolhead 6th, Superboy 7th. That was a lot cleaner from these guys last time around. I hope they stick to it as they come now through turn 11 and 12. Now through 13, you can see the Constantino effect. And these guys really flying through there. Petrolhead gets a boot up the rear end from Superboy. And that Bull still on the inside line. Hair Race is probably just laughing in behind, thinking, I've got your guys' numbers all day, every day. Superboy now coming across on Petrolhead. And Petrolhead comes back at him. And again, these two just getting way too aggressive for my liking. This is unbelievable racing. Honestly, if these guys do not get a slap wrist, I might resign as a commentator, because this is absolutely unbelievable what I'm seeing here. Now Petrolhead is trying to do the same to Bullfish Dara. This is not racing, this is more like ping pong between these guys. And this is why, honestly, these guys might just have to be punished towards the end of this race, because the over-aggressiveness from these guys, these three out on track, 2 in particular, as Bull forces Petrolhead off, and Superboy takes full advantage, and he's through, and he's up into 5th. And you know what? That was going to happen. Some point or another, that was going to happen. Petrolhead might just weave because of that, but no. And Hair Race has gone into the back of Bull, and Bull recovers it out the wall, comes across Splash. It's just not great racing at all here. Saddened, really, to try and bring you this action, to be honest. This is not really a great commentary to see. This is not great action to see out on track. Just wish they'd listen and they'd clear it up. It's as simple as that. Splash and Hair Racer though, these guys do know how to battle, and I'm sure these guys will be very respectful, because Bullfish Dara now is in 9th. These guys now will begin to try and help each other to try and latch onto the back of Petrolhead and Superboy ahead. Hair Racer runs wide though, and Splash is going to come through. Splash is through and he's up into 7th. Petrolhead on the back of Superboy. Superboy and Petrolhead. Petrolhead, luckily, is going to be coming into the pit, so that might put an end to the shambles that is going on out on track. We're more than halfway through, though. Black lead, Seal second, Tice third, Palmer fourth, Superboy in fifth, Petrolhead in sixth. I really hope you guys have not tuned out because of the action out on track. Splash there now into sixth, Hellraiser now into seventh. These guys pitted very late on, actually, out on track, and they're showing us having no laps of fuel remaining, but they do. You can see, and actually that's Bo Fishitawa trying to go on the outside of Hellraiser. Totally springing me by surprise. And now Bo right on the back of Hellraiser. Let Superboy get away, of course, in fifth. Just having a look further up the field. Yeah, not really much going on in terms of the battle for the lead. It's all happening further down. Black still out in front. Let's focus on Black, though, for a minute, because he's 3 seconds now ahead of CO. The worry was, from the Sidemax boys, I was talking to both Tyson and Palmer before the race, their worry was that they would be outclassed by, as Black makes a mistake, not on the scale as Brands Hatch last week, but it's enough to lose some time. But Black currently has got a full advantage with COM behind him. 2.5 seconds is the gap. He's just beginning to lose concentration slightly, maybe just beginning to lose the tyres there as well. But the thing that the Sidemax boys were worried about, Tyson Palmer, was that these guys would be too quick. They were more worried about CO rather than Black. And Black, defending champ here in SRS, do never, ever write a champion off. It's as simple as that, and you're seeing this right here, right now. There is CO in second position, trying to chase him down. 27.5 minutes to go. Tice in third, Palmer in fourth, making maybe a few mistakes out on track, because that gap was about 3 seconds the last time I saw it. And now Tice in third, Palmer fourth, Superboy fifth, Splash in sixth. Here comes Bo Fishitawa, though, on the back of Hellraiser. This is for seventh and eighth. And Bo gives him a bit of a tap up the rear end. And he's trying now to try and get the move done down in towards turn one. Comes out of the slipstream, but Hellraiser hangs on. I think Bo probably just warning Hellraiser that he's there, to be honest. He's got probably within a party, I would imagine, at this stage. So they will be saying to each other, do not dare go on the same platform as what Petrolhead and Superboy did earlier on in the race. I'm lucky to say, I'm privileged to say as well, it's calmed down. Petrolhead into the pit, Volschweitzer as well into the pit lane. Could commit towards the end of the race. Bar is behind him out on track. They're a minute behind now on Black. There is Black, and he makes another mistake coming out of turn 9. So, turn 13, that is out on track. I'm missing counting my corners, honestly. CO there in second. Tice there in third. Palmer there in fourth. Tice getting closer, actually, to CO slightly. And Palmer's trying to get closer to Tice as well. Bo Fishitawa still on the back of Hellraiser for 7th and 8th position out on track. These guys still going great guns, and hopefully you're still going great guns by tuning in to the stream here for SRS. Sardegna B would have been the best, unforgiving and amazing to race around. Yes, Sardegna B, honestly, we had that for the MX-5s, I think, in a former championship that we used to be a part of. And the MX-5s around there were quite good. The GT3s, I think, are equally as good as the MX-5, perhaps even better around there. Keelan's saying there in the chat, of course. And yeah, I've got to agree with that. Sardegna B was one of the options we were looking at, but we went for this option because it's the longest and because we thought it would have provided better action out on track. Sadly, with some of them, they didn't. Bo Fishitawa trying to get on the inside of Hellraiser. It's got enough. Hellraiser, though, is going into the gravel potentially, and Bo sweeps up the inside. Enough to put him off, and Bo Fishitawa is through, and he's up into 7th. Simple mistake like that changes the complexion entirely. Bo Fishitawa is through, and he's up into 7th position. It's like the parting of the Red Sea on the curve coming through turn 1 there. Back on board with the leader. That is Black out in front. We did expect about 36 laps out on track, so we're getting towards the business end, really, of the race. Black, though, doing a fantastic job out on track, and he looks, to me, as if he's holding the TSR boys into a 1-2 position. Seal there in 2nd, Tice there in 3rd, Palmer there in 4th. Palmer, got to be honest, after those early collisions with Doug, Doug obviously diving down the inside of him, having the contact on lap 1, then having the contact on lap 2, he's had to fight pretty much from last position to get where he is. And because of everything that's unfolded around him, this is why now you're seeing him in 4th position. 4th, I've got to say, might be the best he can hope for But if he just picks up that pace a little bit more, Tice might be just vulnerable slightly later on in the race. We've got a good battle going on further down the field. Bar and Volschweitzer now for 11th and 12th. These guys, of course, do get points. And Bar, Aston Martin, Corvette on the inside line, Volschweitzer. And the Swiss man in car number 21 defends just about from Bar. But Bar gets a terrific exit. Oh, he got cut up at the pass there by Volschweitzer. I don't think he was going to get through anyways. Volschweitzer could have just given a little bit more room there. But he had the car in front. Nothing you can really do about that. He's up into 11th position. And Bar will have to pit again. Volschweitzer might not have to. So these guys could be prone to that. Superboy is coming just behind Petrolhead. And Petrolhead will feel a sigh of relief, I think, with that. Because he's now in P8. He's now in control towards this business end. He might go for a splash and dash towards the end. Tap very sideways coming out of turn 1 and 2. The Superboy tries to latch on to the back now. The Aston possibly could go to the end. I'm not so sure though. I don't think he will be able to as Tap runs out wide. And now Superboy just got to be very careful. Tap lagging slightly. Superboy still on the back. And the Aston against the fellow Aston. And these two stalwarts, of course, out on track, doing a great job. Bar is back through on Volschweitzer, and that was through in towards turn 5. And Volschweitzer gets a better run out now. And these guys are providing a good bit of action for turns for 11th and 12th. Volschweitzer up on the inside line, Bar on the outside line. This is how you battle around here at Sardegna, and that is how you get, potentially, you moved on. But now this is how you go side by side, coming up through turns 7 and 8, and then this potentially could be a great move for Bar if he can get around the outside, coming through turn 9, very late on the brakes, both of them, and Bar right around the outside. Can he get the move done? Brilliant stuff by Bar. The American outguns the Swiss man. Terrific stuff by Bar. That is an example to follow. That is a great battle, and that is a great move. Bar is through and he's up into 11th. These guys are so even on pace. They're just falling over each other, but it makes it really interesting to watch. Volschweitzer nearly goes into the back of Bar. This is for 11th. They're nearly getting that, these two. But they don't care. It's brilliant to watch. This is what racing is all about. Black, though, leads the way from CEO in 2nd. Tyson 3rd, Palmer 4th. Splash in 5th. Phil for Shadara 6th. Harris 7th. Petrolhead in 8th. Superboy now is through on Tap into 9th. Tap struggling, I think, with tyres, with fuel as well. And Volschweitzer and Bar side by side in towards turn 1. Volschweitzer comes back at him and is back through, and he's up into 11th position out on track. These guys are only going to be picking up pittance points out on track, but every point matters. And with Bar especially being a reserve, Volschweitzer being a full-time driver here, it makes for great viewing. Got to be honest, it's probably better than I'm a Celeb last night, to be honest. This Volschweitzer in 11th, Bar in 12th. You would imagine that the Aston would just be too powerful for the Corvette, but the Corvette really got good cornering speed, and Volschweitzer was driving the socks off that car at the minute. Bar similarly driving the socks off that Aston as well. If that car had socks, then they would be off, and they would have naked feet by now. Black leads the way from CEO in 2nd. We'll focus on the leaders once again. Black could be shy of fuel, to be honest. He might have just underdone this slightly in terms of the field, because he's coming through turn 6, and I would say he's got about 5 litres of fuel left. Now, by my reckoning, he's going to have about a litre of fuel left, I think, before he comes into the pit lane. So it's going to be a bit touch and go, this, possibly from Black. He's now coming up in towards turn 9. He comes through there. Polyphony Digital, of course, sponsoring here at Sardegna. And coming down the hill, he's still going flat out. I think he'll be fine getting towards the end of the pit lane, or towards the end of the lap, and not run out of fuel. His fastest lap, by the way, was 39.8, even quicker than what was set, I think, in qualifying. And Black leading the way. He's got 2 litres of fuel, I think, left coming through turn 14. So this is going to be now panic stations possibly for Black, but he should make it. He's round the final corner now, and Black not running out of fuel. He's into the pit lane. CEO, on a very similar level, is going to come into the pit lane as well. Yeah, 2 litres of fuel for Black, 2 litres of fuel for CEO. Well timed. Tice is now coming into the pit lane from third. He's getting close down by Palmer, actually. Palmer 6.7 seconds behind him. But Tice now into the pit lane from third. The main protagonists are in. Palmer will be coming into the pit lane in fourth. He's also got 2 litres of fuel coming into the pit lane. Hero's there in fifth. He's about 15 seconds off the back of Palmer. Black, though, is out in front. Comes out of the pit lane. Nearly 3 seconds ahead of Black. Sorry, Black. Nearly 3 seconds ahead of CO, I should say. 2.6 in the end, coming out of the pit lane. So Black leads, CO second, Tice in third. Tice might just gain, actually, coming out of the pit lane. 99 litres of fuel. He commits to the end of the race. The guys ahead of them, though, have gone for about 85 litres of fuel. So these guys, Black, CO, are now committed to the end of the race. They've just dominated affairs out in front. Tice has been trying his utmost to try and get as close as possible to the back of CO. But you know what? For all fairness, I think, out on track, Tice and Palmer should battle. They're 5 seconds away. Palmer, I think, is on a quicker... He's in a quicker car. He's got less fuel than Tice as well. I think, wait up, battle, put a show on, and that's what might happen. You never know. Petrolhead now in fifth. Bofa Shadara is in sixth. Are we going to get a repeat from earlier on in the race with Superboy in behind? Let's see, as the Unfold now coming through turn 5, and then up towards turn 6 and 7. And Superboy closing in. That Aston really quick on a straight line. Tries to cut from the outside to the inside line. Brief run down into second. And now out of the corner, Splash trying to chase them down as well. Superboy's got a chance here to pull it off in towards turn 9. Bo, though, I don't think is going to give up that lightly. Here comes Superboy. Forced to the outside line. Bo on the inside line. And Bo, I think, is going to hold on. Superboy tries to go for the switchback. Really hard to get a switchback off the marbles onto the cleaner part of the track. And Superboy is in 7th. Bo for Shadara 6th. They're pulling away slightly from Splash, who's 9/10 behind in 8th. Really good battle this, though, still happening out on track. Ball now defends to the inside line. Superboy tries to come in around the outside, but not close enough. Down the straight's his best chance. There is Splash in behind as well. He's now a second off. He's not within slipstream, so it's now between these two for 6th and 7th. Superboy and Bo for Shadara. Superboy cuts the inside line now. It's a drag race all the way up towards turn 1. McLaren and Aston really nullified in terms of the performance running up the hill. And I think Bo has got the quicker car. Bo dragging ahead of Superboy. And Superboy has to give up. Because Bo is through and he's into 6th position. I was going to say he's into the lead of the race, but he's not. He's into 6th position. And Superboy cannot find a way through. And now Superboy tries to go to the outside line. Now on the inside line, we take this on board with Splash's point of view, right in the cockpit of the Mercedes, as he latches onto the back of both Superboy and Bo ahead. 16 minutes to go. Really feeling the effects, by the way, in terms of my voice. Hope we can keep going. Superboy is on the back of Bo. And Splash has got a tremendous run running up the hill. He's now in the slipstream of Bo. Look at the closing speed of the Mercedes. The Mercedes now against the Aston, against the McLaren. 3 stalwarts in the manufacturers going up in towards turn 9. Splash, I think, very, very wise to back off that. And everyone, in the end, stays in the same position. Nobody really coming in for the move. That's not really going to be there. Superboy gets a good run out, though. Coming through this twist in that section. Through 10, 11, 12, and then through 13. Superboy right on the back, but Superboy's into the wall. And Splash now, right on the back of Superboy, could try and have a go up towards turn 1. And Superboy obviously feeling the effects with the grass on his tyres. It's going to give him a good chance. He's got an initial good exit out the corner, but look at Splash. Look at this Mercedes. Close in, close in. On the run up the hill. 15 minutes to go. We're 3/4 of the way through here in Sardegna. Splash now has to come in up the 6th gear eventually. He's going to lose the speed up the hill. Superboy's still got a chance of getting this move done. Down the inside and towards turn 1. Well, that's a way to pull off a good move there. Superboy on the inside line, cuts across the grass slightly. He gave Splash plenty of room to operate, and Superboy is through, and he's up into 7th position. Fair move, that, to be honest, and that's better from Superboy from earlier on in the race. Splash in 8th, Herves are in 9th, Volschweiter 10th. Disposal of now Bar, who came back into the pit lane, I think, tapping the 11th Bar there in 12th. Leaders are just in behind him, actually, out on track. We flick through. There is Black, 2.1 seconds ahead of CO. Tice there in third, 4.6 ahead of Palmer. Palmer closing in, 4.4 now the gap. Closing them in all the time. Petrolhead in fifth, Bullfisher Dara in sixth, Superboy seventh, Splash in eighth. And with 14 minutes to go, roughly, in terms of my reckoning, about 8 or 9 laps, I think. So we're going to be on for around the 36 lap mark, 37 laps maybe, at a push. Oh, there's Petrolhead. Still in fifth, pulling away now, Petrolhead in fact. In fifth, Bullfisher Dara there, pulling away in sixth. And Superboy in seventh, Splash there in eighth. Oh, both of them very wide. Coming out the final corner. Initial good exit again from the Aston. But the Mercedes is just going to close in all the way up the hill. This time around though, Petrolhead into the pit lane. Now brings Bullfisher Dara, Superboy, Splash, and possibly Hair Racer as well up positions. And they're up into 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th now out on track. Through turn 1 we go once again. Bullfisher Dara 5th, Superboy 6th. And there is your leader, Black, through turn 9, there through 10. Then through this twisty next section of 11 and 12. Let's have a ride on board with the bumper cam. I'll shut up through here because he might try and go for this one through here. Big flap there, you saw him not go down into 4th gear. 4th just unsettles the car it seems, and Black very late on the brakes. Just dominating affairs out in front. We saw a good battle earlier on between them both, good couple of lap battle. Black, CO, Tice, top 3. Palmer's still getting closer, he's 4.3 seconds off. He's not entirely out of a podium position with 12 minutes to go. Still enough in there to try and pull in the gap. Splash trying to pull in the gap now on Superboy for 6th and 7th, but you can really see who are the men and who are the boys really, I think, out on track. Splash tries to close in 700ths up, coming through this middle sector split, and now through turn 13 and 14. And we're about to hit 8 o'clock here in the UK. I hope you're tuning in with 10 minutes to go in the SRS Motorsports League. Superboy gets out wide, and now Splash closes in. Once again, if you're just tuning in now, where on earth have you been? Have you been out for a pint? No, because the pubs are closed. Splash on the back of Superboy. Running up now the hill in towards turn 1. We see him right on board with the right side now. Splash on the outside line. Superboy not going to try and come across. He's going to give him plenty of room. Splash is going to sail around the outside though in towards turn 1. That's how you get a move done in towards turn 1. Late on the brakes, we've seen plenty of that tonight. Hair Racer did it earlier on as well. And Splash now through, and he's up into 6th. Out on track with just 11 minutes to go. Still all to play for further down the field. Really, the podiums are settled, I think. Black, CO, Tice look like your top 3. Tice is actually up on his time through that first sector, and now spins the car coming through turn 9. Really good rotation through there. He's just been absolutely outgunned by the 2 Dodgers out in front. Palmer's now 4 seconds off, and he is was purple through the middle sector, but he is personal best in terms of middle sector out on track. And he's there in 4th. On merit, he's there on 4th, and he's well ahead of the likes of Bo, Splash, Superboy. Splash is now through actually on Superboy, I think. And he's through, and he's up into, oh, he got it through turn 1, didn't he? Superboy on the back, trying to repay that position. Trying to reclaim that position, and he won't reclaim it like that. The Splash pulls away. It's Superboy, unless he gets this corner right. He's got to be very careful as well. I don't think Superboy might get to the end of the race actually. He's got 25 litres of fuel left. I don't think he's getting to the end. Hair Racer definitely will. Splash will. Bullfisher Dara will. Superboy might not, and he's into the pit lane. I did say he might not get he might not get to the end of the race, and he's not. So Superboy into the pits from what was 7th position, and he fuels up to about 50 litres, I would think. Superboy is now into the pit lane. He refuels back up, and 68 litres of fuel. That is way too much towards the end of the race. And he comes out behind Petrolhead, and Petrolhead, again, I think will be very happy that he's came out in front of Superboy from the earlier bits of contact earlier on. Volschweitzer also into the pits. He had no fuel left, 8 litres in fact. Volschweitzer is there. Tap is there. Tap goes past. So Tap now into 10th. Volschweitzer 11th. And Barr really losing the time in 12th. He's got the leaders chasing him down, but still Black leading the way. Black was quicker last time around. And is he going to go purple again? He does. Goes purple again. 39.7. It was a 39.793 I think last time around. 39.715 this time around. So Black is getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Out on track with 8 3/4 minutes to go. Black leads, Seal second, Tyson third. Palmer really closing in on this advantage. 3.3 seconds the gap. Palmer not entirely out of the podiums just yet. Do not discount him at your peril, because he is closing in on Tice. Down in towards turn 1. 3.3 seconds off. Really good exit coming out of turn 1, much quicker than Tice there as well. He gains another 1/10 of a second. Palmer is like a man possessed. Honestly, it's not the cat driving this time, it is the man. And the man really beginning to push in this Mercedes on the back of his own teammate. He runs wide slightly. That might be a slight commentator's curse for me, but we'll hammer over that. Tice in third, Palmer in fourth. Should say we'll gloss over that. Palmer in fourth, Tice there in third, both for Shadava fifth, Splash sixth, Hairraiser seventh, Petrolhead 8th, Superboy in ninth. Not really anything to focus on, but we will continue to focus on this battle, or this potential battle, for third as Palmer. We're right on board again, coming through turn 9. You can see we're here in Sardegna. Sardegna, of course, a region of Italy. And early on, of course, in the year, Italy really faced the strenuous times of dealing with COVID, and obviously this being a fictional track, it doesn't really make a difference, but we're still fighting this horrible coronavirus, and we're in lockdown still in the UK. We might be free for Christmas for 6 days, but yeah. But what you're doing on a Sunday night is tuning in here for SRS, and I really hope you have enjoyed a little bit of normality in your life. I know how hard it is currently. As Palmer still tries to close in. 2.8 seconds off the back of Tice. Both for Shadava. Getting close down by Splash actually. 1.5 seconds the gap. McLaren against Mercedes. This was Formula 1. We'll be rubbing our hands at this stage, but we're not. Both for Shadava. They're in 5th. Splash in 6th. They fly past our camera position. Hairraiser there in 7th. Petrolhead in 8th. And look who was closing in. Superboy is closing in once again. Superboy and Petrolhead, by the way, they qualified well up there in the standings. I think they qualified about 4th and 6th or 7th, I think it was, for Superboy. Both of them have driven really good races. They've just been outdone by the strategies, I think, out on track, and they've really just been outdone by everyone's speed in front of them. Hairraiser, I mean, was behind them for most part of the race, and he is outdoing these in terms of the strategy by about 10 seconds. So it just comes to show what a good strategy it is to have around here. With Bo very nearly kills me in the camera roll there, coming through, passing the wall. Palmer's still closing in. He's setting a personal best, coming through the sector once again. Through 4th gear, oh, he runs wide, just about gets away with that one. And there is Tice ahead. Tice is struggling with his tyres. He's overheating maybe slightly. And now 2.7 seconds the gap. Palmer gets a little bit of a worse exit there than Tice. And Tice, with 5 minutes to go, I didn't think I'd be saying this, is hanging on for grim life from his teammate. Tice that lap around 40.5, that's more like it. Palmer across the line, 40.3, so Palmer again takes another 2/10 out of Tice. And these Sidemax boys, they know how to battle. We've seen it, of course, in the SMM versus SDM event. Palmer and Tice, really good friends. They're both in a party together as well. We'll hope to have at least one of them join in on the podium celebration, but we're certainly going to be having at least Black CO in, that's for sure, because these guys, with 4 minutes to go, lead the way. Black doing a fantastic job out on track from CO in 2nd, Tice there in 3rd, Palmer 4th, both for Shadava 5th, still getting closed down by Splash. Splash is not done with for top 5 position. Really good drive this from Splash as well. Both for Shadava, really good drive from him. Be hard done by, I think, with the earlier contact that happened, but it comes to show. Cleanliness does prevail in the end, and Bo has been very clean this race. Splash there in 6th, Harry's a 7th, Petrolhead in 8th. Superboy has made a mistake somewhere out on track and he's now 9th. You can see the damage there to the car. Falls right to 10th, Tap in 11th, Bar in 12th, getting closed down by the leaders, and Bar might just be lapped before the end of this race, possibly. Ghosting, I think, is on, so we should ghost in him if he was to overtake. But with nearly 3.5 minutes to go, really hope you've enjoyed this race in SRS Motorsports for the GT3 Series Round 2 of the Championship. And Round 3 takes us to a 90-minute race next week. 90-minute race next week. And I can confirm with you guys, of course, the track next week is Monza. The Autodromo Nacional de Monza will play host to round 3 of the championship. It's a 90-minute race around there. Black leading the way, Seal 2nd, Tice 3rd, Palmer in 4th position. And now Splash closes in on Bo. Up the rise in towards turn 1. Is he going to be diving around the outside? Splash very late on the brakes, tries to channel his in a Daniel Ricciardo, but not quite. Bo, 5th, Splash, 6th. But for how much longer? These guys are surely now going to be fighting this position right to the end of the race. Splash trying to outdo Bo Fushidara in terms of the cornering. And he gets a better exit. Tries to maintain in that car right on the back. And there he is, just to the side of him, now in front of him. Bo is hanging on for grim life. And Splash feels as if he's got Bo's number. Running up the hill with 2 minutes to go. This might be the final lap of the race for these guys. The leaders are now on to this penultimate lap of the race, but for these guys it could be the case where they're on to the final lap of the race. They've only come in through turn 9 now, and Bo hangs on. Great braking there by Bo to defend the position. Really, really, really good stuff out on track. But fantastic stuff. Splash right on the back of Bo. Oh, splashes into the wall. And Bo surely has just grasped himself a 5th position as a result of that. Splash now down into 6th. And he just got too close into the wall on the left-hand side. He just overcommitted it slightly. And now Splash has got all of his hard work to do once again. These guys will go on to the final lap of the race. That is for certain. So I think Palmer and the likes are already on to the penultimate lap. These guys, just starting from 5th downwards, are on now to the final lap of this race. As Bo Fushidara is in 5th, Splash there in 6th. We'll ride on board with our leader. Bar has been ghosted and runs wide. Black now on his way to a commanding victory. Out on track, he will get another lap. So we'll be 36, 37 laps out of this race. And Black doing a fantastic job. He's only got 2 more corners to go, and then he'll be on to the final lap of the race. Bar is into the wall there. Seal there is in 2nd. Titan 3rd. Palmer 4th. These guys will lead on to the final lap of the race. They're coming through turn 9 now. It's about 40 seconds to the end of the lap, so they're going to be fine. Bo Fushidara still hanging on there in 5th. Thank goodness there is not another lap, because I've just seen his fuel to the bottom left of your screen. He's nearly on empty. He's running about 5 litres of fuel as he comes now down and towards turn 9. Bo in 5th, Splash in 6th. Bo doing a fantastic job currently. 20 seconds to go. The leaders have started the final lap of the race. Palmer and Tice will start the final lap of the race as well. And Palmer getting very much closer to the back. But Bo coming now around the final couple of corners out on track. Splashes wide again, and Bo has now secured 5th, surely out on track. Been a race filled full of drama. It's been a race filled full of great overtaking as well. Little bit of shoddy racing here and there, but Bo Fushidara is going to come across the line to finish in P5. Splash will come across the line to finish in P6. They're going to be the first ones to come across the line. They don't win it in terms of the time either. Bo will cross the line in 5th, Splash in 6th. Hairazor, good performance from him in 7th. Really found on the caution the first half of the race, but comes good in the end and finishes in 7th. Petrolhead and Superboy. This is going to go down to the line. This is going to go down to the wire. Superboy, Petrolhead just going to hang on just about. Petrolhead gets 8th. Superboy in 9th. Whether those positions change, might see. Volschweitzer is going to be coming around in 10th. That is Tap there in 11th, and Black is coming through the final couple of corners as Volschweitzer now comes across the line in 10th. He's driven well. He had a really good battle with Barr early on in the race as well. Volschweitzer across the line in 10th. Tap there in 11th, but there is your winner here in Sardegna. It might be a fictional track, but Black has extended his championship lead. He's retaken the championship lead and makes amends from Brands Hatch. CEO in 2nd, 1-2 for the TSR boys, and it's going to be 3-4 in the end for the SMM boys as well. Tice rounding the final couple of corners. Palmer doesn't care. He's wide through the final 2 corners. And now Tice up towards the line to finish in P3. Really good drive from him. He's just been outpaced. It's as simple as that. Tice across the line to finish in 3rd. And Palmer across the line to finish in 4th. And that is it here in Sardegna. The top 3 interviews are still to come. Black, CEO and Tice will be joining me in the commentary box. Palmer finishing in 4th there in the end as well. But there is your winner for Team Simpact Racing. It is TSR T5 Black. The defending champion takes the lead of the championship and extends a winning sequence to 1 now. Whether you can be beaten next week at Monza, you will just have to find out and wait. As now, I'm going to bring these 3 into the party. So I've just got to literally add them for 2 seconds. So bear with me while I do this. Of course, we do have Monza next week, the Autodromo Nacional de Monza, for round 3 of the SRS Championship. And we're going to be getting going for that, of course, very, very soon in terms of the racing next week. Let's get T5 Black. And let's get a man that I have got on my fences, SMM_Tice. And he's going to be coming in as well for these podium interviews. Or he should be anyways. I don't know where his name is. Give me a second. Might have to go down my friends list to get him here. Yeah, I'm going to have to. Let's find him. And let's add him in to the group of the top 3 here coming in for their interviews. Just waiting for my friends list to load. It is taking an absolute age. But we should get Mr. Tice in very soon indeed. He's the final one to be added to this list. I will come off the blue screen eventually. Oh, but we should have the interviews very shortly indeed. And there is Tice there. So the top 3 have now been added into this group. And they should now be joining me very shortly into the party for the top 3. A real good ding-dong battle further down the field, but it was T5 Black. He took the win. CEO in 2nd, Tice finishing in 3rd position, and a really good race out there in Sardegna. I'm sure some of the driving standards further down the field will definitely be looked at. Petrolhead and Superboy in particular. Not really great to see that sort of racing out on track. But I can announce that we have got 2 out of our top 3 in. CEO will be joining very shortly, I'm sure. But it is Mr. T5 Black who takes the win here in Sardegna, and that was just a commanding drive from you, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically. I just had one mission. It was to drive away from Twitch and then just catch up to Theo and then pass him and then take off. Yeah.
Yeah, really good race from you. Obviously, with CEO finishing in 2nd as well, it must have such a great impact on your mentality here tonight in Sardegna, because a 1-2 finish for Team Simpact is just what you need, and especially so now that you're the new championship leader.
Yeah, it's exactly what we needed. I think I'm in the lead with the driver standing, and I think TSR and the Team Simpact Racing is in the lead in the team championship, if I don't miscalculate.
Yeah, I do believe they're leading in the team standings as well. Fantastic result, obviously. Going into next week, a longer race, Monza. How do you think you're going to get on around there? Because surely the Viper's just going to come alive once again.
I hope so, yeah.
You seem a bit unsure about that one.
What?
I'm saying you seem a bit unsure about that one.
No, I don't want to be sure. The Viper is good on Monza. It's a good track for it, so it's not that many corners. So it's basically a straight line: brake, turn, gas, brake, turn, gas. Yeah.
That's pretty much how we're going to be explaining commentary, I think, next week as well.
Yeah. He's braking.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to be... It's going to be fantastic, of course, next week in Monza. We will move on then to your Team Simpact Racing teammate, Sio, who finishes in second. Sio, you debuted last week in Brands Hatch, finishing in third, getting a late move on Tice. This entirely different because you were fighting with your teammate for most of the race.
Yes. Yeah, it was a good race. I wasn't able to completely hold the pace, but yeah, next time.
Next time. There was a good battle for a couple of laps between you guys as well. Just talk us through what was happening there, because you traded position, you took the lead, and then Black came, dummied you on the inside line, went up in towards Simon. Just talk us about that battle.
Yeah, I actually don't really remember, especially. Just trying to save some fuel and try to go my own pace without looking how far behind he was. But yeah, he's often slightly before me. Most of the times we're driving like exactly the same. So it's funny.
Yeah, do you feel the fuel as well, in terms of that, with you saving fuel, do you feel that had an impact on the winning margin in the end?
I don't know if I lost some pace because I was thinking of that. Maybe I should just try to pull more when he wasn't in my slipstream, but I was thinking it would work. Yeah. Something like that.
Final question from me. Monza next week, obviously being a 90-minute race, how do you think you're going to get on? Because same question really, the Viper should be good around there.
Yeah, the Viper is pretty good around Monza, but the Mercedes is also really good. So it's going to be a good battle, I think.
It should be indeed, and we do have our P3 man, of course, in the party along with us as well. That is SMM_Tice. And Tice, you must feel disappointed slightly because finished in P3, about 25 seconds behind the guys in front. But just talk us through, from your point of view, that race.
Yeah, I mean, I had an okay start trying to jump Petrolhead, then I think Petrolhead, Doug and someone else had a collision with Palmer, so he was at the back, and then I just tried to keep the pace up and attack T5. It really didn't really work.
Yeah, it didn't really work. And that lap one contact as well. Palmer, Doug was the one diving down the inside of Petrolhead, I think, and both of them just cannoned really into Palmer, and that's why Palmer was gone down back to the field. Doug eventually retiring from the second lap of the race, but in the end, P3 was pretty nigh on. I'm trying to think of the word. Sealed. Yeah, sealed that position pretty much right from the outset, I think.
No, I knew with the speed of Palmer that it was still going to be a bit of a challenge to keep ahead of him. He made a few mistakes, but if he didn't make those mistakes, he would have had me even. Just try to keep it consistent, don't crash into the wall, and just go with as much speed as possible.
Yeah, I think also with Palmer as well, getting so unlucky in the first two laps of the race, getting punted by Doug twice, probably unintentionally, we've got to say as well. But that just really knocking the confidence. But Palmer was catching you towards the end of the race. Do you feel if that was a 90-minute race, he would have caught you before the end?
If that was a 90-minute race, then yeah, sure, he would have.
Yeah, but he drove well. He finished in P4, you finished in P3, obviously.
Yep.
And looking ahead to Monza, how do you think you're going to get on around there? Because the Mercedes, with the straight line speed that the track has to offer, being named the Temple of Speed, 75% of which can be taken pretty much on full throttle, Mercedes should have more of a nullified effect on the Viper, do you think?
Yeah, the word should is quite funny in that sentence. So we'll see that.
Well, we'll
Like
see.
it was this race where just on low speed corners under the braking the car rotated towards the inside, which was really annoying and really cost a lot of time.
Yeah, well, hopefully the Mercedes is going to come back to its brilliant best next week, and SMM might even score a 1-2 and defeat the two TSR boys that we've got in the party. But thank you, Black, thank you, CO, thank you, Tice, all for your interviews. Much appreciated as always, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And we look forward to seeing everyone that's tuned into the stream next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell if you are new. I'm going to make a prediction before the midway point of the season. We will get 50 subscribers on this channel by the midpoint of the season. So if you are new to the channel, do subscribe, share this amongst your family. We're still in lockdown here in the UK, so you've got nothing else better to do on your Sunday night at all. No going to the pub or anything like that. Sit in, watch a bit of GT Sport, especially next week because it's a 90-minute race at the Autodromo Nacional de Monza. I'll get my pronunciations right for next week. Thank you so much for tuning in, though, to SRS GT3 series. For myself, James Head, and from these three lovely people in the party alongside me. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.